Hello, welcome to Biography TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. Biography of Évariste Kimba. Évariste Kimba was born on the 16th of July in Nsaka, a village in Bukama Territory, Katanga Province, in Belgian Congo. Kimba belonged to the Luba tribe and was the son of a railway worker. He spent most of his youth in Élisabethville, where he attended Roman Catholic schools. After his basic primary and middle education, Kimba, like his father, worked on the railroad. However, he did well to continue his education. He took night classes at St. Boniface Institute, where he studied sociology, law, and political economy. Kimba was a bit of an all-rounder, as he also played football on the school's team. In 1954, he took up journalism as he began writing for the Essor du Congo in Élisabethville, a conservative pro-colonial newspaper that covered Katangese affairs. It was in the same year that he became the publication's editor-in-chief, a position he held until 1960. In February 1957, Kimba met with a group of young Katangese who was concerned about their province being dominated by people from the neighboring Kasai region. By 1958, they had founded the Confédération des Associations Tribales du Katanga, that is, CONACAT, a regionalist political party. Kimba rose through the ranks, and by 1960, he was the vice president of the Association of the Congolese Press. In the spring of 1960, Walter Ganshoff van der Merch was appointed the Belgian Minister of African Affairs. He was then sent to the Congo to oversee its transition to independence. On his arrival in the Congo, he made Kimba his assistant chief of staff. On the 12th of June of the same year, the Provincial Assembly of Katanga elected Kimba to the Senate on a non-customary CONACAT list. By the 16th of June, they had formed the Katangese provincial government and appointed Kimba as Minister of Commerce and Industry. The Republic of the Congo became independent 14 days after, on the 30th of June. On the 11th of July 1960, Katangese provincial president Moi Chombe declared the secession of the state of Katanga. This attracted some opposition from the regional Luba-dominated party of the Association Générale de Baluba du Katanga, that is, Baluba-Kat. Kimba, however, allied himself with Chombe, maintaining that the Katangese Baluba belonged to the Katangese nation. Chombe then appointed Kimba as Katanga's Minister of Foreign Affairs. In December 1960, he accompanied Chombe to a conference with leaders of the National Congolese government in Brazzaville to discuss political reconciliation. Later in April 1961, Kimba and Chombe went to Coquillaville to discuss political reconciliation and a constitutional review with the central government. Unfortunately, that meeting did not go well. So, Chombe and Kimba were arrested and imprisoned for 6 weeks. They were released on the 22nd of June and allowed to return to Katanga. As an exchange for their liberation, they had to sign an agreement with the Congolese government, declaring that representatives from Katangese constituencies would appear in the next session of parliament, but later refused to fulfill the agreement. Later in March 1962, the Katangese government held more meetings with the central government in Leopoldville, the Congolese capital. Chombe was away at the time. However, Kimba went on a tour of Luba areas in Katanga to support the movement for secession. The last round of the Leopoldville negotiations was due to take place on the 18th of May 1962. However, Chombe still refused to show up. Instead, he sent Kimba to represent him. In January 1963, under military pressure from the United Nations operation in the Congo, Chombe declared the end of the Katangese secession. On the 19th of January, UN officials went to Chombe's residence, and in the presence of Kimba and some of his other ministers, they declared that he would accept the UN's terms for Katanga's reintegration into the Congo. Gradually, the Chombe-Kimba unity began to wane because Kimba wanted reconciliation with the central government, but Chombe did not. Chombe went to Paris, but Kimba stayed back, and in February 1963, he became Minister of Education of the new province of South Katanga. He later served as the province's Minister of Economic Affairs and Minister of Information from April to August. Chombe returned to the country in 1964 and was made the Prime Minister. There were general elections in 1965, and Chombe's new coalition organization, the Convention Nationale Congolaise, that is CONACO, won a majority of the seats in parliament. Kimba also contested in the election for a seat in the Chamber of Deputies and won on a Balubakat platform. He was later overthrown in a coup launched by Joseph Désiré Mobutu in November 1965. There was a political rivalry between Chombe and Joseph Kasavubu, the then president of the Congo. As a result of this rivalry, Kasavubu, on the 13th of October 1965, announced that Chombe's transitional government had fulfilled its purpose and would end. He then named Kimba the new Prime Minister and gave him a responsibility to form a government of national unity. Kimba's government was installed on the 18th of October, representing 16 of the 39 political parties with members in parliament. His administration was more nationalistic than Chombe's, as he effortlessly worked at controlling Western influence in Congolese affairs. Of course, Chombe's removal did not go down well with his supporters, so in the following weeks of Kimba's ascension to power, they worked for dominance in parliament. On the 14th of November, they made efforts to uninstall Kimba, but they failed, as the following day, Kasavubu renominated Kimba as Prime Minister, and that resulted in a political deadlock. On the 25th of November, Army Commander-in-Chief Joseph Désiré Mobutu, who had previously supported Kimba, launched a coup that removed both him and Kasavubu from power. Mobutu assumed control of the presidency and appointed Colonel Leonard Mulamba to replace Kimba. In May 1966, Mobutu's security forces arrested Kimba together with former government ministers Jerome Anani, Emmanuel Bamba, and Alexandre Mahamba while they were on their way to a meeting with some military officials. All four of them were taken to a military camp and tortured. Mobutu accused them of plotting to assassinate him and Prime Minister Mulamba. He also accused them of trying to overthrow the government. They were then tried before a military tribunal on the 30th of May. They were eventually sentenced to death and publicly hanged in Leopoldville before a large crowd. Kimba was the first of the four to be executed. His family refused his body. The late Kimba was married to Bernadette and they had 4 children. What have we missed out of this biography of Kimba? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.